Are there vampires in New Orleans?
Yes.
The entire city of New Orleans is haunted. So be ready on this bike tour to see the most visited vampire locations with some interesting stories. So let's go riding. Count Saint Germain, one of Anne Rice's vampire character Lestat's story, was based on truth, and this is where it came from. 200 years ago, after his alleged death, a strange gentleman from France named Jacques Saint Germain arrived in New Orleans and moved into this home right behind me. He threw lavish dinners, parties, never touched a bite of food, drank lots of wine, and told stories of long ago as if he were there. One night, Jacques threw a party, and later that night, he attempted to bite a lady in her neck. She was found on the street with blood trickling from her neck. When the police investigated the home, they found numerous bottles of wine, which turned out to be human blood. Jacques mysteriously disappeared before the police could question him. Legend has it that he has been seen in New Orleans from time to time, so you never know, you might run into Jacques while you're here visiting New Orleans. The sun is going down now, and I gotta get off the streets. Vampires. If you are a big fan of the movie Interview with the Vampire, they filmed a scene right here, Madame John's Legacy. It's a haunted spot, so you might hear whispers when nobody else is present. Vampires. This looks a bit haunted. In 1967, they started some renovations on this house and they found a secret room. They found human bones and they were lined up in a position
To protect the occupants from vampires. So that kind of asks more questions than it answers, because vampires were apparently a very real fear.
Okay, we got a vampire story coming up.
During the 1930s, a woman escaped from this home right behind me. It was the home of the brothers of John and Wayne Carter. Her story sounded a bit far-fetched as she was explaining it to the police officer. She and others were held captive so the brothers could drink their blood.
It did check out and the brothers were executed. Their bodies mysteriously vanished from the family vaults, and sightings of the brothers are often reported to this very day. So who knows? Oh my God, more vampires. I think I gotta get out of here. What's on the third floor behind those mysterious shutters that are always tightly secured? This is a vampire legend. This was a convent of the Ursuline nuns. They were established to help care for the population of New Orleans. They saw that they needed more people to come to populate New Orleans, so they asked the King of France to send over some women. These women, they arrived to marry the colonists and to populate New Orleans. So here is where it gets spooky. When the girls arrived, they each brought with them one wooden chest shaped like a coffin. After the arrival, nobody could explain why the mortality rate just started drastically increasing. Suspicious mounted when the girls later opened their wooden chest caskets and they were found empty. After the investigation, the caskets were moved to the third floor. It was sealed off, the doors were nailed shut, and the attic shutters sealed with 800 nails blessed by the Pope. What was in those caskets? Vampires. Caskets and the shutters still remain sealed in the attic to this day on the third floor. No one can explain why occasionally late at night, someone will see them suddenly open, followed by a mist that surrounds the convent. Woo! That's pretty creepy. This is Anne Rice's house. Originally, this was a home for priests. Then it was Anne Rice's home, the Vampire Queen, and then it was sold to Nicolas Cage, who lost it in his bankruptcy. Now it's just a privately owned house. It kind of look like skeletons to me. Are there vampires in New Orleans?
Yes. I believe in them, and they are among us. And those are the ones, amazing people that actually attract those who are not around them.
Are there really vampires in New Orleans? Well, according to the Atlantic Vampire Alliance, they conducted a survey that found that there are at least 5,000 people in the United States who identify themselves as vampires, and about 50 of them live right here in New Orleans. Hope to see you riding!